morning to all my dear students. Children, let's go ahead into our chapter Atoms and Molecules, and let's discuss today some of the basic laws of chemical combination that were put forward by Antoine Lavoisier, children. So we have seen the contributions of Indian scientists like the great scholar like the Maharishi Kanad, and also the Greek scientists and the scholars like the Democritus and the Leucippus, right? So at the end of the 18th century, actually these scholars, they could not prove their point. But at the end of 18th century, we have these laws put forward by a great scientist, Antoine Lavoisier, who changed the complete perception and understanding of these chemical substances, children. So let's see two of the laws today, okay? First one is the law of conservation of mass. So we all know, by now we all know that mass is neither, what does it state? Mass is neither created nor destroyed during a chemical reaction or in the formation of a chemical new substance. So is that clear, children? Mass is neither created nor destroyed during a chemical reaction. So in order to prove our point, we need to just do one small activity. So which is given in your textbook. We have a set of few chemicals in the X group, and also in the Y group also we have few chemicals over there, okay? A, B and C, for example. So now you can see that when you make the compounds, or what you call the chemical substances of X, any of these chemicals of X to react with any of the substances of Y group, then what you get is nothing but some products you get, right? You can see that these are nothing but salts, isn't it, children? So these salts, when they are mixed together, what kind of reaction do you think will happen? So we have types of reactions, right? So what kind of reactions do you think will happen? Yes, it is chemical double decomposition, where you will see an exchange of ions happening and forming different compounds. So it is double decomposition happening. I want my students to write down all the combinations of reactions happening between the substances of X and Y, and write down all the reactions possible between these sets X and Y, and write on the complete balanced equation and send me the pics. Okay, will you do that? Yeah. So for now, what we need to do, we can select any particular chemical substance and make it react with any of the chemical substance in group Y. So like this, we take a conical flask and we just fix one small test tube in which we take substance X and we take substance Y. You can do any ways, like you can take Y in test tube and X in conical flask also. And then what we do is we just we close it with the help of a rubber cork. Then what we do is we just simply tilt the solutions so that X and Y react with each other and the reaction is made to happen. So now, before the reaction is made to happen, you have to very carefully take the weight of these things. Like we have to take the weight of the conical flask, weight of the test tube, weight of the cork, the entire. Before the reaction, you have to weigh the complete weight of the entire setup once. Now you have to tilt the conical flask and let the reaction happen. After the reaction is done, then also again you need to measure using a sensitive balance. Okay, then you will find, what will you find, children? Will there be any increase or decrease in the mass of the components of the compounds, or the entire chemicals, all the chemicals that we are taking in this, before the reaction and after the reaction? No, there will not be any change. There will be no change in the mass whatsoever. So that is nothing but, that's how we prove the law of conservation of mass. Before the reaction, how much is the mass, how much of substance X you are taking, how much of substance Y you are taking, and after the reaction, maybe some products like P and Q are formed. So those P and Q together will have the same mass, children. So later you can deduct the mass, you can get the individual masses of these compounds later, like by deducting the mass of the conical flask and the apparatus that we are taking, like the test tube, the cork, everything. If you deduct off, then what is left? What are we left with? We are left with the individual masses of X and Y before the reaction and P and Q products after the reaction. So you will know then that there will be no change in the mass of the compounds entirely. So after the reaction also there won't be any change. That is what is law of conservation of mass states. Okay, again I'm stating what is this law of conservation of mass. The mass is neither created nor destroyed. That means you won't find an increase in the mass, nor there will be any reduction in the mass after a reaction happens. So that is law of conservation of mass. The other very important law is the law of constant proportion. It is also called as law of definite proportions. So here you have to understand, we already know this, like we have learned it in our previous chapter. You remember what is the difference between a compound and a mixture? We know that the compounds are formed when elements combine in a fixed ratio. That is what is, if you understand that, you have understood almost 90% of this constant law of constant proportions. We know that a compound has elements combining in a fixed ratio. Some amount of an element X always combines with a fixed amount of element Y to form a compound XY. Did you understand, children? Here let us take an example that hydrogen always reacts with oxygen in this ratio, children. So this is the ratio. Always it reacts with in the ratio 1:8. So always hydrogen reacts with fixed amount of oxygen, or in other words I can say oxygen always reacts with fixed amount of hydrogen. So how much is the ratio? So in order to know the ratio, here is the ratio, children. So here, what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? It is 1, children. The atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 units, 1 atomic mass units. Okay. So here you can see 2 atoms of hydrogen are combining. Here we have two molecules of hydrogen element. So here we have 2 into, what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? It is 1. And how many such atoms are present? That is 2. So we have 2 into 2, that is 4. So 4 grams I can say, okay, 4 grams of hydrogen. They are combining with how many grams of oxygen? Atomic mass of oxygen is 16, children. So how many atoms are there like that? 2 atoms are there. So 16 into 2, which is 32. So 4 grams of hydrogen are always combining with 32 grams of oxygen, children. That means if you see the ratio, it is 1:8. 1 gram of hydrogen always combines with 8 grams of oxygen to form 9 grams of water, children. To form 9 grams of water. In 9 grams of water, I can just say in other words too. If you take 9 grams of water, in that, how is the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen combining? 1 gram of hydrogen combines with 8 grams of oxygen, and this value is fixed. No matter from where, which source you bring water from, it will have the same proportion followed. That means it will be combining with the same proportion only. Always hydrogen and oxygen combine in the ratio 1:8. So if I take 4 molecules of hydrogen, with how many oxygen molecules will it combine? Will it combine with only 1 molecule of oxygen? No, it will combine with 2 molecules of oxygen to form here how many molecules? 4 molecules of water, children. Are you understanding? Now you can see again, when you calculate, you will get ultimately it is 1:8 ratio that is followed. Okay. So if it is combining, you can see here 2 molecules of hydrogen are combining with 1 molecule of oxygen here. Here in the similar manner, I have doubled it. So the amount of oxygen is also doubled. Understand here, children? When I am doubling the amount of hydrogen, I should double. That means it will combine with double the amount of oxygen again to form water. So always when you see the ratio, it will always be in the ratio 1:8. I'll give you another example of ammonia. Ammonia, you can see always 14 grams of nitrogen will combine with 3 grams of hydrogen. Always this ratio is followed to form ammonia. So that is law of constant proportion. I have just written it like this to show that before the reaction and after the reaction, the amount, the mass has not changed, which is nothing but proving the law of conservation of mass here. Can you see here, children? What is the atomic mass of hydrogen? It is 1. So it is 1 into how many atoms are there? 2. 1 into 2. And how many molecules here? 2. So 2 into 1 into 2 plus, what is the atomic mass of oxygen? It is 16. Now this 16 into how many such atoms are present of oxygen? 2. So 16 into 2, which is 32. If you combine these two masses, we have 4 and 32, which is 36. So here also you will see 2 molecules of water. Water means 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. When you combine, when you add these masses, you get 2 into 18, which is 36 again. So this proves law of conservation of mass. And this still here, it proves that 1 gram of hydrogen is combining with 8 grams of oxygen. So 4 grams combining 32. It goes on increasing in this ratio only. So that is about law of constant proportion. In my next class, I'll be teaching you one more very important concept, which is Dalton's atomic theory, children. Okay? Till then, please go through your textbook once again, watch this video again, and try and complete these equations and send me. Okay? Thank you.